ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, May 1st, only on Netflix.
Pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff. In this week's issue,
Silver Surfer Parable. Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by the... I usually do better. I say I usually do better. I never do good at this. The man on a I don't know, Mike. Are you very wise? Are you very... would you consider yourself... here it is. Joined by the man of the masses, Mr. Mike.
Oh, thank God he released me from my spell. I'm sorry. I had to be totally still until you finished.
Oh, man.
That was hard.
Yeah, that was hard. And I just couldn't think of anything, and it just made it worse. Yeah. See, that's the beauty. I should have thought of something before we went into it, because then I start, and I'm like, I'm just going to call Mike Marvelous and not even do anything. And then every time I'm like, no, I'm going to try to tie it into what we're talking about today.
Freeform comedy.
And I freeze.
Yeah.
And so that's what that was. Okay. Anyway, I'm Zach. He's Mike. This is Bros, Foes, and Heroes.
I think I was supposed to tell you that this is not a banana in the skull's head. It is a foam finger.
It is a foam finger, not a banana in the skull's head.
So if I go up here and I start tickling it, just think of it as a foam finger.
It's a foam finger.
It's fine.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us this week and every week. As always,
people.
What we are, poor audio people indeed. What we are is a comic book podcast. Every week, I, Zach, will introduce Mike or either dive back into a comic book hero, villain, or storyline. Hence the bros. Well, when I started this podcast, a little bit of history, I did it with my brother.
Yes.
And so that was where the bros started from. And the foes and heroes make sense. But now it's Mike and I, and we're bestest of friends. So that's where the bros comes from. Anyway, what we are diving into, or what we have dived into here recently, is we covered Guy Gardner last week. Talked about how scummy Guy Gardner could be at times. We took a look at...
because of that, I got to explain who Guy Gardner was to my wife.
Did you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
I really felt like I do use the information that I learn here. I really do.
That makes me feel good, Mike.
Yeah.
But here's the thing now.
She doesn't care.
I know she doesn't.
She does.
But here's the thing. Now when he shows up for like 2 minutes in the Superman movie, you'll be like, oh, he was douchey just like we thought he would be.
We were able to talk about that. We were able to talk about Coach being the other Green Lantern.
Oh, that is.
All of that's we went fairly deep.
There we go.
Went fairly deep.
So a bunch of other things.
Deep in the paint, as the kids say.
Hard in the paint.
Oh, do they say hard in the paint?
Yeah, because it's like basketball.
Okay, basketball.
You don't.
That's the round one.
Tim Duncan never went deep in the paint.
Tim Duncan did go deep in the paint.
You don't go deep in the paint.
He went way down into the paint. So far, he couldn't see the goal. That's how paint he was.
Help! I'm in the. Oh wow, we're getting off track.
That's how deep in the paint he was.
So, we also covered Batman Magician on our World's Finest Wednesday. Which what that is every Wednesday we usually cover something Silver Age related. Coming up this Wednesday, we're looking at House of Mystery and a certain comic hero that I'm going to introduce Mike to. The next 2 weeks, we're going to look at this. This hero or heroes. You'll have to stick around. Or I guess tune in Wednesday to see what that's about. But today, what I have for us is something.
Mine have always been cowboys.
Yep. Oh. My mother told me, though,
Sure.
What is it? Don't Damn it. Mama said
don't. Mama said knock you out. I think
yeah,
that's what she said.
No,
Hey, look at
Waylon
this.
and Willie had a...
Look at that. Somebody just sent me.
What is that an ash tattoo?
It's an ash, but a little baby ash.
Oh, baby
somebody
Ash
got
from
tattooed
Evil
on
Dead.
their arm.
Okay,
I'm a big Evil Dead fan.
What we're doing today, as I ring this back in, is something that I wanted to do for a while, and I was planning this specifically to coincide with Mike's birthday. Now, this is after Mike's birthday.
It is.
But we did this for his birthday. Now, he doesn't know this yet, but for my birthday, one of the things that he is going to do is we have talked about doing this, but I've decided he's finally going to do it, is I'm going to give him an issue.
Yeah.
And he is going to host.
I will do it.
On my birthday actually falls on a Monday. So I figure for my birthday this year, you'll just host the show.
Oh, that's great.
There you go.
I love it.
And so I'll give you the comic, and Mike will do it, and Mike
I'll
will
do it.
explain something to me.
Yeah, boy,
See,
you can't wait for that, can you?
You can look forward to that. We have All-Star
be
Superman
great.
coming up soon. We got a bunch of stuff we've talked about before.
There's a reason I'm a former teacher.
Well, we're going to get you back in teacher mode.
Yeah.
But what we have today, again, for Mike's birthday, is something that he's talked about through the years of us doing this podcast,
Yeah.
which we're coming up on close to 4. In 1 month, it'll be 4 years. And
Wow.
I know. But, and that
Good
is
God, what have we done with our lives?
Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
But a specific Silver Surfer, Mike.
Yeah, it was.
And it's one we've always talked about here, and we'll go ahead and bring it up right now.
Yeah.
And that is
Look at that line work.
Silver Surfer Parable. Now, Parable was a book, I think the cover date was like December of 1988, the issue 1. It came out in 2 issues. So December of 88 was the cover issue, but I think it technically came out in August that year. And I'm pretty sure then the follow-up, which is part 2, we'll cover both parts in this, came out then the first part of 89. I'm double-checking on that real quick.
Okay.
But so just a 2-issue, and this is the thing, is Moebius, and we're going to kind of dive into him a little bit, but I know that Mike is a bigger, when it comes to just art, knowledge in general. Oh, I take that back. It came out the next month in September, but they gave it the cover date of January of 89.
Okay. All right.
But still.
Yeah.
Mike is way more knowledgeable when it comes to art. I can sit there and I can enjoy stuff and I can appreciate it. But I feel like, Mike, you have a better understanding.
Well, the only reason is I love to draw. I taught art for a little bit, just a few years. But I can tell you why this speaks to me. It's because this is the way, and I am nowhere near this good, but this is the way I draw. And by that, I mean, all of these colors on this page are solid colors. If you look at it, it's all solid colors. Any of the shading is done with line work. And that's generally how I draw. I do a lot of cross-hatching and shading and scratching and things like that. And so that's why I believe this spoke to me so much, is just because of the simple line work on it.
I will say that is something that...
The story's probably garbage.
Well, I knew, and we'll cover the story, but the thing is, and I will say this before we dive into it, and I'm telling our audio listeners right now, this is going to be a visual one you're going to want to see. If you want to hunt it down somewhere and look up part of it online, this is... I loved the art throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, the art's fantastic, and it's so simplistic. Part of it.
I know that I played the clip from, what was it, Crimson Dawn or Red, whatever the Denzel Washington movie is. I played the clip where they have the
Crimson
argument.
Tide.
Is it Crimson Tide?
Isn't it Crimson Tide?
I think so.
Where
they have the argument about who Silver Surfer is better, Kirby's or Moebius's, which I will tell you, just in the way they look, it's 2 completely different kind of view, and that's the thing. It's what you're into. There's no comparison, because to me they're both absolutely phenomenal.
No, it's apples and oranges.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to give a little bit of background about this before we dove into it, because the story, this is also kind of a bigger deal too from a comic standpoint in writing, because this is one of the last things Stan Lee actually wrote.
Really?
For this.
Okay.
Silver Surfer was also always his baby, which to me has always been a little strange, but I get it in a sense. I say it's weird to me because Silver Surfer was created. I think the story goes, I've heard it a bunch of different ways, but essentially they came up with this idea of they wanted the Fantastic Four to meet God. And that is where we got the Fantastic Four Galactus story from it. When Jack Kirby came back from working on drawing this story to turn it into Stan, there was this silver guy, this guy flying around on like a surfboard, and Stan was like, "Who is this?" And so Kirby essentially tells him, if there's somebody as big and as godlike as Galactus, he would have a herald. So that's where he created Silver Surfer from.
Makes sense.
But Stan kind of fell in love with the character and used it, I felt, and he said this before in interviews you watch, is like a mouthpiece of like how he felt about things in society.
I get that.
Silver
Surfer was always one of those things that was very introspective, very ethereal, kind of it was almost like taking a class in philosophy or something every time you read an episode of read an issue.
And that is exactly how this Silver Surfer is. That is how Stan writes a lot. And it is very interesting. I read that.
I had never seen a comic book character that was so introspective.
That is very true. That is very true.
That was part of my thing with it, too.
And I get that. And there are still quotes in here. Like, I'll get to some of them, and I'm going to butcher right now when I get to, but there is one where he's essentially telling, like, Silver Surfer says, like, should we just try just because victory is guaranteed? Like, what's the point in that? Like, we should try just for the cause.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of, like, good, just, like, very philosophical points that the Silver Surfer makes. The only problem with some of it is it depends on what you want out of your comics. Is sometimes it can be a little heavy, or a little heavy-handed and preachy. And
I get it. I think also this probably hit me at a time in my life where I was very much about questioning everything.
I get that.
And so this was a lot of why is religion the way it is? Is there someone we actually answer to? All of those sorts of big, heavy-handed things were in my brain at the same time.
Very much so. And we'll see, and I'll save some of that when we get to the story. Yeah. Just real quick, Jean Girard. My French might be just the
mine's impeccable.
Also known as Moebius, was a French artist, cartoonist, and writer.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of work. He's known for his own work, like Arzak, Blueberry. I actually threw some up here so I could share. Like this is, let me get Parable out of the way.
Yeah.
This is like from Blueberry, which is Western themed.
Yeah.
He
That's
also
very
did,
well done.
It is. He also did a book.
Like it harkens back to old comics, but you can tell it's new. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, it's still in the 70s when he's doing this. 70s, 80s.
But still, it's so freaking detailed.
He did some sci-fi, like the NCAL, which is our NCAL, which
that's
things
looking
like
more
that.
like actual Moebius stuff.
Yeah. So it was a lot of things like that. He's just a phenomenal artist.
Can you put that one back up real quick?
Yeah, hold on.
This is from what you said?
The NCAL. I'm saying it right.
So again, I apologize to the audio folks who can't see this right now, but like if you look in the bottom lower left-hand corner, you see all of that detail, right? But then you start looking at the girl on the back of the rat, the guy at the thing. They're so simple, right? And this is the perfect image to use between those two, between the Western thing, which was super detailed. Then there's this, which is losing some of the detail. Then there's Parable,
what we're about to get in with Silver Surfer Parable.
Lost all the detail, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love the depth of this, too, with that line work, is it does feel like they're close together, but yet there's still a distance between them.
But if you look at it long enough, it starts to look like those two pictures don't go together.
It does. Like, that's what's crazy about this. But you're right. Let's go ahead and let's get into
that's cool.
Silver Surfer Parable here. So a little backstory is, from my understanding, is that Stan Lee was very much into the work of Moebius and would like to, or would have loved to collaborate with him somehow. Just they happened to like cross paths at some trade show or something, or maybe it was Marvel had approached him about doing. There are these from like local comic shops, and you might be familiar with this too. They had, I guess, to prepare the Western audience for Moebius's art style, they had him do, and I should have jumped some of these down to find him, but do posters of different Marvel characters. There's like 6 of them that you can find, just full posters. It's like Wolverine, it's Punisher, it's I should have grabbed them. I knew you would have probably
the big ones,
this.
Right?
But Iron Man's one of them.
Were these like comic book size posters, or
no? They were like full size posters.
Really?
It's Daredevil with white gloves, but the thing is,
is
it's the characters, he didn't really know them too well, so it's like they tell him, and he like makes what off of that. You'll see this a bit with Galactus, because I read himself. He was like, I didn't know much about these characters, so I had to read and kind of like figure out what I wanted to do. He was like, if this would have been me making Galactus on my own, like he would have been just like this pure form of energy. But like I had to go back and base it off of, like how like there's looks for all these characters before.
So I'm looking on eBay here, and I see Iron Man. Is that one of them that he did?
where he looks very veiny in the arms and has like almost Mega Man-ish with like repulsor blasters.
Well, it's this, if anybody can see that. It's very small, but
You know what I'll add here? I'll add one that I think looks really good.
That's super cool.
See, I'm educating you, Mike. I'll add one more that I think is really cool.
You know what this looks like, though? You know what this Iron Man looks like? It looks like if AI did it today.
A little bit, yeah.
Because it added veins and all that stuff, you know?
It did, but that's just Moebius back then. I have the
cool.
Punisher one here. Here, I'll add that one in, and then we'll get to our story.
They're 22 by 35.
See, that's the Punisher one he did.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. That skull is weird.
It is, but like...
It's not bad, though.
It's not bad, and hey, people haven't gone on to misunderstand the character and misuse it at this point.
That's pretty friggin' cool. That's like a Star Wars kind of thing he's got over his shoulder.
It is.
That's
so
weird.
They commissioned him to do these like posters.
Thanks a lot. That gave me something else to obsess over. I appreciate it.
There you go. So they had him do these posters that they would hang up in shops to kind of prepare the Western audience for his art style going into Parable here.
And I'm sorry, I don't know the author's name, but the guy who did Mouse also. The graphic novel?
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Art Spiegelman, right? Yes, Art Spiegelman. Sorry.
Those two art styles look fairly similar.
Dude, did I tell you I read Mouse?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, you said you really liked it.
Oh, but it is so heavy.
Well, it's like Watership Down or anything like that. You know,
it's the same
kind of...
like, that's the thing is like the subject matter it deals with, even though it makes it, like it's still, but it's really good. Okay, so they end up getting to work together. The thing that's the problem through all this is like Stan says a story of where like talking with Moebius, he told him like, oh, I'd be interested in like the Silver Surfer character. Like he interests me. I don't know much about him, but he interests me.
Yeah.
To whereas Moebius makes it sound like maybe, and I could be wrong, maybe this is me getting it from that, of where they pitched that to him and he was like, I didn't know much about the character, but like I researched it and kind of came up what to do with it.
Yeah, sure.
There's a language barrier between the two of them because Moebius did not speak English and Stanley did not speak French.
Yeah.
So this was very much, I was trying to see if I could skip to the end. I think it's at the end of this book where he himself gives it. So like Moebius in the back of the book here is talking about like everything, the story. Like that's what's cool about the one that I had is it had like details of the making of it. Yeah. And so I was able to read some of this from Moebius. But he talked like we get like little sketches of the outline before they did it. But so there's just a lot of just, a hard, I guess, creativity. I think that Moebius didn't expect the story to go where it did and be as heavy as it was. And I think he said that he would draw some things a little bit different if he knew there was going to be so much text in some of them because Stan does like to talk with the surfer that he would have made, he might have made art easier in some places.
He couldn't open a comic
away
book
from
before
there.
he did it or what?
No. I don't think that this story that he did is what he's saying.
Okay.
I think he didn't realize that the idea that they had two different ideas because this is the thing about the Marvel method is that when Stan tells you, hey, I'm thinking about writing a story of XYZ, Moebius goes and draws the story XYZ, but maybe Stan's thinking something more verbose. And so when he gets it back, he makes the word balloons bigger and it kind of eats into the art some and stuff like that. So I'm thinking maybe it's that. But let's get into our story. And I will tell you, this will be, Mike, it's only 50 pages.
Okay.
It was broken up into 2 at the time,
Sure.
Because most French graphic novels are just, they're hard. I'm pretty sure they're hardback, but 50 pages. I could be off on the number. Like he turned in what he was used to drawing. For the story.
I think you mean 50 pages.
Something like that.
That's what you mean.
But some more Silver Surfer here as we kind of get into Parable. So
look at how much he did with black. Just the color black. Look how much he did with the color black.
And that's what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you a loose understanding.
That is amazing.
But the art is what's going to speak on this when we cover it. So how I view this story, Mike, and maybe I'm wrong, is it's kind of like, to me, when I read this, is after, remember when we were first introduced to Galactus?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm thinking this happens after this, but for some reason, people don't remember Galactus.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'll say that. So people are out in New York. They're celebrating. They think what they see is like a shooting star by, and we get to see like mountains as it flies by this observatory. Just the face work, man. And they notice that it's not a shooting star. It's not a meteor. It looks like it's actually this spaceship. And people are starting to panic then because, well, a spaceship is landing. I do love, I just noticed now, isn't that a Ralph Snart that we got in there too? I think down at the bottom. I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. Yeah.
So I think that,
how weird.
Everybody's panicking because aliens are landing or whatever this is. So there's panic in the streets.
Yeah, nobody was ready for it, whatever it was.
But also people, you can see there's looting. It's a city in shambles.
I just love the lettering on this, too.
Oh, it's great. And we see this. Moebius also did his own lettering for the most part.
Gorgeous.
I think he did it on this one too, but
I don't know who did the lettering, but they're an artist in and of themselves. I mean, because that is some beautiful stuff.
I love that. I also love the throwbacks, like when he's thinking back to it's squiggly around it,
almost like a postage stamp.
But we are shown this individual who kind of just looks like he's on the streets amongst all this rubble. He's wearing tattered clothing. He has a hat and he has something with him that's like wrapped up. But he looks just kind of like a vagrant in a way, just hanging out there in the streets. And he's just talking about I feel no surprise. I've seen so much of man's insanity. I have little compassion for them. The thing is, I'm trying to explain the story, and it's going to be explained pretty quickly when I'm not getting into all of the just philosophizing. There we go. That the Silver Surfer does throughout this whole thing. But these, I guess, cops of some sort notice this, derelict. Is that a right word? Can I use that
derelict? Word? Yeah, sure.
Man, and they're telling him hey, you got to get out of here. And once the scene got wrapped up, and he tells them hey, leave my stuff alone. It's mine. And he grabs the guy's arm to pull it off this board. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We know what it's going to be. But, and he's it's mine. And he's oh, now you're resisting arrest, huh? And they they're about to arrest him for this when all of a sudden they're blinded by this light and that giant spaceship lands. Yeah. It's very phallic shaped.
It is very phallic, yes. There it was. Yes.
But lands.
Asks me about my wiener.
See, I love how that helicopter is far too close to the spaceship.
It is very close, yeah.
But as this,
because you got to assume that big orange,
it's just like energy or heat just shooting out from underneath there.
I'm almost thinking it's just going to melt everything around it or whatever.
And as it lands,
look at that!
I'm telling you, the art. If you can, this is one. If you just usually listen, please watch us because the art is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it really is great.
And so you get the I am Galactus. One thing that we'll get. Here, you see it more here, and I love this. I love that picture up there where the power is mine. So what has happened is there's a beam that's come out of the spaceship, and Galactus has essentially appeared in this beam of light towering over the entire city. He says, the moment is mine, the power is mine, the majesty is mine. It is a moment of oh shit. This is Galactus, and it is drawn so well. You just see him just tower over everything. Yeah.
It's the feeling I get when I watch the new Fantastic Four.
Yes, and you see the foot. It's very much like that. I also love at the bottom when I talked about
It'd be kind of kick-ass if he paid this off and did a big yellow beam of light kind of thing whenever he comes in.
I love, and I'm curious to see I love that he did this too, because since he already knew what Galactus would look like, I like to think he's almost like a Stonehenge face in a way. Do you see that?
Very much so.
And it's chipped away, but flat. That's the thing. To make him seem so old.
He's chiseled. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But just this old deity or
force.
Just,
it's almost like water has created the crevices in his face and stuff. He kind of
looks
a mountain.
He kind of looks like Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
He does.
But it's such a great, beautiful thing there. Well, while Galactus is being shown on TV, we're now introduced to what was a big deal in the 80s, and I'm assuming this because I was just there for a little bit, but Mike can hopefully back me up on this. Televangelists were a problem.
Televangelists have always been a problem, yeah.
So, obviously, big godlike creature appears.
Built a freaking water park.
Galactus did?
No, the
Bakers?
Yeah, the Bakers.
Did they really make a water park?
They built a water park.
So Righteous Gemstones is more on.
It's pretty damn close. Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
But we're introduced to, while the news is talking about and showing, Galactus, for no one knows the extent of his power and knows what he is, we're introduced to this televangelist in a way where he talks about, I can't let those other charlatans, his name's Colton, where's his last name? I don't remember what Colton's last name is right at the time, but televangelist Colton and his sister Elina. Okay, Colton and Elina. And Colton says that he can't let those other charlatans get the jump on him. Like, Galactus can make him the greatest evangelist of all time, is what he's thinking. So I'm going to use Galactus to my benefit then, until he essentially is like, I'm going to tell all these people that I'm the speaker of Galactus. And Elina's like, I don't know, Colton.
It's a bad move, dude.
Like, this Galactus guy scares me. I don't know if we should do that. And Colton's like, my TV ministry once reached millions around the globe, but the public is fickle, and I've been losing converts. Like, wait till, my next telecast. Like, I'm going to bring them all back. And she's like, what are you going to do? And he's like, just watch. So we then see, as, spoiler alert, the Silver Surfer. But this man dressed up in rags walk through the streets, and he comes around a crowded people at a bar, and just kind of packed in to watch the TVs. And on the TV in this bar is that Colton guy saying that Galactus has come in an answer to his prayers. It is he who summoned him, like, praise the Lord. And so everybody then starts to believe that, like, some guy in the back of the bar then is like, why should we believe blindly? What is he? And then somebody else goes, kill the lousy anti-God. Galactus will save us. And it's just starting. It's very quickly much of everybody just starts believing.
That's the way you would think it would go, In
a way. But everybody just starts believing that Galactus is the new God there to save everybody. And Colton, you're fine. And Colton is the speaker through him. We see, and also this, I feel like it takes place all over a day, even though there's a bunch of costume changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it does feel very cramped.
It does.
Like, it happens just real quickly, and I would assume that's the way it would happen with us. It would be very quickly.
Oh, for sure.
Something just appears and comes down like that.
Well, and the thing is, he hasn't done anything yet, too.
Well,
like
I know, but he just went, boom, there he was. And you're just like, the whole planet would freak the hell out.
No, you're right. Silver Surfer is always talking about, like, voices of reasons are shouted down by the deafening roar of violence until martial law brings an uneasy halt to the carnage. Talking about how, like, the crowds are going crazy. Then it's pandemonium in the streets. And Colton's getting ready to leave to go somewhere, and he's like, humanity has wanted its coming since the dawn of time. Talking about Galactus. He has the power. It is not for man to question his word or his will. He is at law absolute, and I am his prophet. So he is doubling down hardcore on I am the prophet of Galactus.
Surfer doesn't like
that. The derelict tells him, you lie. And he's like, false prophet, you bring shame to your calling. And, there it is. He's like, who was that ranting derelict? So I guess I was right for using derelict. Spoiler alert, he essentially tells him, like, again, there's a lot of, and I don't want to get into all of this because that is what a lot of this book is. And it's meant to be enjoyed and questioned on yourself. Yeah. I can't sit here and read, I'm trying to find his, we're getting there. We get shots of in the city of people are like turning on each other. There's fire. There's rubble. Yeah. Things aren't
There's
going
a lot of
well.
obey. There's a lot of
So like here's his speech. Just
we got to fall in line.
Let me show you like how the Silver Surfer talks, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. He goes, "Your brother is driven by the lust for power in the name of religion. He will subvert mankind." And then Elina goes, "You, how can you be so sure of this? How can you not? Does he not expose the teachings of Galactus, thus making a mockery of all that man has achieved?" Yeah. And she's like, "But Galactus is a god. Surely we must obey. Obey when children destroy their schools. Obey, obey precepts that turn. I can't read.
Obey precepts.
Thank you. Obey precepts that turn brother against brother. That imprison on the prison on the door and help the less. Prison on the poor and help the less.
The problem is it's cutting off in the middle of a word and then
going to the next
it up
one.
On the next line.
But still, but it's all like he's very much like obey this, but he's always very much. And he's like, I sought to forsake the human race, to leave this pathetic world to its own devices. But perhaps I am maddest of all, for I cannot turn away.
Yeah.
For the truth, any man can make a difference. I mean, he does. There's some good points in
here. And then it's just really weird when he takes his coat off and he goes, bite my ass.
I'm Silver Surfer. Really Go fuck yourself.
I just love that reveal, though. I am called the Silver Surfer. I mean, that's fucking cool.
It is really cool. And then we get into where this is
and
where
he has to unwrap his board.
And then he's like, give me 1 second.
Hang on just a second. Wait a minute. I didn't wrap this.
Damn it, this is the wrong board.
My
Give me a
wife
second.
always
I gotta
uses
go
too
back
much
home.
tape.
So, it's up to Silver Surfer then now. He's deciding, I'm going to go talk to Galactus. And he tells him, Galactus, I'm here. Galactus tells him, yeah, buddy, I knew you.
So this is one thing that I have an issue with.
Yep.
Okay, and it's the fact that Galactus is always like, oh, I figured you would come.
Yeah.
No, you knew, dude. It's the same thing every time. It's the same thing.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
He's your friggin' herald.
This is what happened the first time we saw.
That's what I'm saying. There's no surprise here, you big weirdo. And he's not a god, right?
No.
He's a planet eater. He's not a god.
Well, he drains energy from he's like a sword, like I get why Moebius would have made him a beam of just like pure energy. Like I get that, like that's what he is.
But I
He's
mean
like
that
energy.
woman those people were calling him a god, and he is not a god.
He says that himself. There's a point where Stan loves to write the. But like Silver Surfer goes, why have you broken your solemn pledge? Like you vowed never to attack Earth, which makes me think. Remember when he left the first time? That's what he told him. So I like to think this is the second time we've seen Galactus, just story wise for this. And Galactus tells him like, I haven't broken any pledge. Like I have not attacked anybody. I came in peace. And he goes, but you've done a lot of damage already. And Galactus goes, I merely just kind of allowed the unsuspecting humans to destroy themselves in my name. Like, I didn't do anything. They did all this, is what he's kind of telling them. Yeah. Like, I haven't harmed Earth at all.
Right.
And he goes, never before, where was this at? Flying. Oh, they're all talking. Yeah. He goes, and so Silver Surfer says, and so you play God, having pledged not to slay Earth by force, you will do so by guile. I cannot allow it. So essentially, like, he's going to essentially just have them turn on themselves and still slowly eat all the, have the people kill themselves, eat the energy from the world and be gone.
He says, I cannot allow it. And Galactus responds with,
you cannot prevent it.
You cannot prevent it. Yeah.
That's the thing. Galactus is a badass.
He is a badass. Yeah. But he can be killed.
Well.
Or he can be eschewed. He can be.
I've never seen him. I mean,
sent away.
Here's the thing. I am not. There are people way more knowledgeable about this than me that probably know this. I have yet to see.
But if he's not truly a god, he could be defeated by a god.
But I think we kind of talked about this.
Doom?
It is no. Doom is a person.
I know, but doesn't Doom become God Emperor Doom?
Yeah, in one storyline. Okay. But in general, he's a person.
I think we're going to see that storyline.
Well, probably. But I still got to catch up on all that. But Galactus is kind of like he has to be around for the Earth to exist.
He's part of the process.
He's the
part
other
of the process.
side. Like you remember how Thanos like snaps and like have.
Yeah.
He's the process of the sucking of the the energy. Like that's the thing. He has to exist. So he's always around. I don't know what gets rid of him. I don't think anything does. I think he's just always there.
And I do really enjoy the fact that you can see where Silver Surfer swoops
from the line
through these very simple see-through lines.
And so, very much so. The art in this is fantastic. So, Silver Surfer decides, well, I can't beat Galactus. I'll just go reason with the people and tell them, like, y'all are all mistaken. So he tells them, like, Galactus is mighty, his power is awesome, but only the coward or the sycophant worships power and might. What has divinity to do with the show of strength or abandonment of reason? Where is the holiness and brutality and greed? Which again,
very good point.
I'm telling you,
good point.
And I'm just kind of giving you the basic story. There's tons of this in there.
Welcome to church.
Yeah. And then like he keeps going on, like he's giving them all solid points that he's making. And then one of them just goes, hey, he's trying to turn us against Galactus. Kill the dirty, rotten anti-god. And so the Surfer's just like, no, I speak the truth, guys. And they're all like, get lost, sicko. You're just trying to turn us against Galactus. Like, whatever. Galactus will crush you, for speaking up against him.
Surfer gets a hard time.
He always gets a hard time.
People treat him like crap. They really do.
They do. And so they're all turning on him. And it's like, it shows people like yelling at their TVs, watching him, not, agreeing with any of this.
Yeah.
And we see like a guy set up a sniper, almost in a way, across.
Like to get my hands on him.
Yeah, across the roof, and like shoots, like they're shooting at him, and he like sees.
Wait, can you go back one?
Yeah, go ahead.
You see the guys looking at TV?
Yeah.
What?
What's
wrong with those guys? They look weird. Like one of them looks like what's his name from
really
the X-Men?
Strong arms. Colossus.
He looks like Colossus sitting in that chair.
Like
honestly, and then I think, that looks like Colossus, and I think, it's not him. But then I look up and there's a bald guy standing there that's blue.
Oh, I was supposed to be.
So I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't think he's drawing Colossus in there, but anyway, kind of looks like him
over there. I'll go back over here. So,
I'm getting a little seasick.
Yeah. So, he's dealing with all these, shots that are at him, and he's dodging.
I mean, people
them
are
all.
literally trying to shoot him.
Yeah, and he's like, fine, will there never be an end to their insane fantasy or fanaticism? Why do they turn to violence in the name of the one they worship? Have they so soon forgotten the greater power is love? Again, this is all just a don't follow religion blindly kind of thing story here. It is.
That's
if you
all
want
it is.
to. Yeah,
Yep.
it is, and it's a super solid story, and I get it, and I get what Stan was going for. It is just. Again, very philosophical and very solid of a story, but the art makes this what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Silver Surfer's always going to have a little bit of a religious bent to it.
Yeah.
And it has to do with two things. One, the spirit it was written in, and two, the way you accept it.
Exactly.
Those are two very different things sometimes.
But so,
like the way I read this today is not the way I read it when I was however old I was.
No, and that's the
when I
thing
saw
too. Is like I read it this time and I just took it of like, oh, I get what he's going for. Like, it's a solid point. And like there again, like there's great, but it's it's kind of
it's just
way
weird
of like,
it's just weird to me at the end where they pick at abortion. I just thought that was really odd. That's an odd way to wrap up a comic. Sorry.
Spoiler alert. So while they're all shooting at Silver Surfer,
that's the way it ends. Silver Surfer's just picketing.
Oh man, and it turned into one of those comics,
right? Yeah.
But
your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man showed up and started tickling everybody.
Oh man! Although I did see, I'll have to tell you about something else.
The Tickle Monster?
No, not a tickle. No, we're not going to talk about the Tickle documentary again. That's what I thought of for a second. So. While they're shooting all
Hey, can I say one thing, though?
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. And I don't think I've talked about this on here yet. The movie The Wolfman.
No, you haven't talked about it.
Please, no one watch that, ever. It is the worst movie that's ever been made. It is one of the worst things ever. I think this fits. I think this fits in our story today because a lot of this has to do with love. And I really thought that the Wolfman was going to be cured by love at one point in this movie, and I thought I was going to have to make myself throw up.
Well, remember last time the Silver Surfer did essentially. It was love. Remember Ben Grimm's girlfriend?
Yeah.
But it does tie in.
I think I can take it in a comic book.
Well, it does tie in all together too, Mike, because who was in Wolfman?
I don't know. Oh, was it? No, it's not.
What's her name? No, it's Julia. It's Silver Surfer from the Fantastic movie.
Oh, yes. No, she is absolutely in that. Yes. You're absolutely right. The girl from Ozark.
Yeah, I was trying to tie it all together.
Yeah. No, good job. Good job.
Our Silver Surfer is also in.
The whole time I'm watching this thing, I'm like, how can you be in this movie? This movie is awful. Okay, two more things, and then I'm going to leave it alone.
Go ahead.
One, the child looks nothing like the mother. Nothing. And I think the child is half the age of the mother, so it's really weird. Because what's her name? She looks like she's 12.
Yeah.
Right?
I get it.
And then you put this kid who's a brunette right next to her, and it's just weird and ungangly. And then, I don't know. And then it sounded right. Yeah, and then the father, he starts turning this thing, it's got this serious underbite like a wolf, because I guess every wolf has an underbite. I didn't think that was a thing.
No.
But anyway, he's starting to turn into this wolf, and she gets down there, Daddy, I love you. And it's just, it is the worst thing you've ever watched.
I don't want to watch the movie. I want you to tell me the movie.
Hey, that's not a bad idea for a show right there. People act out movies.
That's
not a bad idea at all.
Each week it's kind of like, it's essentially just a podcast form of the Most Def Jack Black movie. Be Kind
Rewind. Yeah.
Which honestly,
that's not
that bad of a movie
at all.
Like
Trademark, copyright.
Trademark.
I've already mailed it to myself.
I'll go back and delete it.
Yep.
You heard it. I probably did.
No, he's not going to.
But we did trademark and copyright it.
Yeah, we trademarked it. We've seen a lawyer. There's a lot of them.
We've seen 2 lawyers.
I've seen 2 lawyers.
So,
it seems like a community joke.
It does.
Where somebody goes, I've
lawyers.
seen 2 lawyers.
Well, and it's very much so like, my name is Alex, guys, like Starburns. Although there is a guy, who is it? There's somebody that we see on a daily basis. Oh, not a daily basis. Yeah, and I can't remember who it was. No, it's not like somebody we work with, but it's just somebody like associated with us.
Oh, in the building?
Yeah.
Anyway, what do they act like? And
it reminds me of the teacher from Community, where it's just like, I'll have a birthday cake. Just very, the guy who teaches the drama class.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just very much about seizing the day, but he's very ridiculous on how he seizes it.
Are we talking about somebody who does a show here?
I think maybe so.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that's who it was then. I'm trying to remember who it was. We'll talk about it afterwards. But
I'll have the birthday cake.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
And then he just throws the menu. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Anyway, so all the people are shooting.
I would hang out with that person 100%.
Oh, no, for sure.
100%
because it's fun.
Because no matter what I did, it's going to pale in comparison. It won't matter.
Absolutely.
Yep. Won't matter.
So all the people are shooting at Silver Surfer because he's the dirty, rotten anti-god. And Galactus, this is what we were covering. And Galactus says, I don't need human weapons to shoot. Like, I can handle Silver Surfer. Yeah. I don't need puny mortal weapons. And so he starts shooting his blast at Silver Surfer as Surfer tries to get away.
He's really effing up New York here.
Yeah, he's very much so.
Yeah.
But while he's doing all this, like, there are even people like, army people down there that were shooting at Silver Surfer earlier
that he's
saving as he's going through the streets, escaping this, barrage from Galactus.
That is bad design right there. Wherever that is set up, somebody should have taken a second look at that with the orange and the green in the middle of the thing. Well,
it's the televangelist's compound.
Yeah, somebody needs to.
So Alana shows back up.
Jesus needs to take the color wheel.
To go see her brother, which it's also weird that he is so tan. But I think that's also another very televangelist thing.
I think it's a televangelist thing, yeah.
So Alana comes in and is like, Colton. And everybody's like, you can't interrupt him. Like, he's meditating. And then he yells out, who dare disturb the ritual? Who has shattered the sacred karma? That's letting me kind of communicate with Galactus. Yeah, and Alana apologizes.
Once people start saying that kind of thing to you, find someone else.
Yeah.
Because you're in the wrong place.
And Alana apologizes, and he goes, I'm sorry. And you're my sister. Therefore, in the name of Galactus, I forgive you. He's already like, in the name of Galactus, I forgive you. It's been like 2 hours, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
But again, you're right. That's probably how we would be.
He has a big forehead.
She is essentially telling him, like, I've come to caution you, Colton, to sound a warning. Like, maybe there is some following Galactus, like, just blindly. Like, maybe the Surfer's onto something.
Yeah.
Like, the Surfer's wise. Maybe you open your mind and listen to reason. And he's like, I'll hear no more. Your words are offensive to my ear. Like, you're my sister, you've been devil tainted. Get her out of here. Get her out of my sight.
He just wants to be a sycophant to Galactus so that he can in some way get some power or anything, not get squashed.
Exactly.
Basically. Yeah.
So he's like sitting there and he's like, I dare not weaken or
devil tainted.
Devil tainted. Believe ye in Galactus, for he is the power. Like, he's sitting there just praying.
I love that phrase, devil tainted.
I love this though, because you see where the view, we cut back to Galactus still chasing after Silver Surfer, and you get like beams from Galactus's eyes that are causing the top of a building to explode. Mm-hmm. You get the line work to see where Surfer has been through the surfboard or with his surfboard though to get away from him. Yeah. And it's just it kind of reminds me, oddly enough, of like Die Hard. I don't know why. It makes me think of Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
But the art is gorgeous. That's the thing, is reading this story-wise might have came a little just heavy at times, and it's not because it's a bad story.
No.
It is a good story, and I will give this because I know.
Well, they kind of tell you right up front it's a parable.
It's a parable.
That's the way it goes.
That's what we're learning here, and it's a good point. But the art is just so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
And so
that dude can draw a straight line.
Oh, he can, and some curved ones too. So Silver Surfer realizes like he needs a little bit of time to devise a way to conquer the unconquerable. Like he needs to get out of there, and so he disappears. He's like, and I'm gone. And Galactus is just like, nobody could hide from Galactus, and he essentially sends his ship out to go find Silver Surfer in a way. We get to see just like different cuts around. It's like Surfer's like soaring around, like trying to think of how he's going to battle Galactus. We also get other cuts of like Colton there, of like, sing ye the praises of Lord Galactus. And it's like people, in the streets just, fire and just pillaging. we get to, like there's parents in like a house. And the dad's like, Emma, shut him up. And the mom's like, you must be quiet, dear. They'll accuse you of heresy, because the kid's crying and pointing at the TV going, I don't care what anyone says. I hate Galactus. Please don't let him hurt the surfer.
Oof.
Like, it's things like that.
Yeah.
But so Alana, when she was taken away from Colton, she's on top of the building now while this helicopter lands.
That's where they put heretics on top of the building.
It's the president. I'm pretty sure it's the president of this.
I think it's the mayor.
You're right. It is.
I think it's the mayor.
It's the mayor. And the mayor's there and is like demanding to speak to Colton, and they're like, you don't demand to control. Like, he's the prophet of Galactus. Like, he's the one who's in control. Like, you are nothing to us now, kind of thing. Like, you're just the mayor, kind of thing.
Well, and he's pissed off because Galactus has torn his city asunder.
Exactly. And he wants to get, if Colton is the prophet of Galactus, get him to stop tearing my city up.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way he's looking at it. He's like, control your deity, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Colton's worker, like one of the other, I don't know what you call these guys, lackeys?
Probably, yeah.
Tells him, how dare you, question the mighty star god and his chosen prophet. And he sicks the guards that are there. He's like, in the name of Galactus, death to these anti-gods. And the guy sicks him to shoot up the mayor and his men.
Yeah.
As that's going on, Alana steals the helicopter that the mayor landed on.
Yeah.
And Colton's men actually shoot at her and actually hit her.
Yeah.
As she's flying away. Galactus is able to pull Silver Surfer right back to him, because you can never escape Galactus.
Well, it did say earlier that he was trying to get away and he got caught in the tractor beam coming out of the ship. Yep. Yeah. And the other thing is, this shows you unintended consequences also. With Galactus, like, I just came here to just watch them do the thing to themselves or whatever. But then he starts tearing the place up and starts doing all these things because he's got all these other missions in his head or whatever.
Yeah.
Or how dare somebody question him or whatever, right? And so he just beats the shit out of this town, and like, it's not what he said he was going to do at all. But it's anyway, it's the unintended consequences of being a galactic world eater, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. So he kind of tells him, like, never. Where is it? Never have I meant you harm, yet you have ever defied me. Galactus is talking to Silver Surfer, telling him, like, I've never tried to harm you, yet you're always trying to, like, go against my will.
Yeah.
Pledge to challenge me no longer, and I'll, like, let you live. And Surfer tells him, a pledge for a pledge, Galactus. Leave the planet now and never return, or I'll fight you to the death.
Yeah.
And Surfer kind of shoots a beam back at him, and Galactus just replies with,
"See?
Then die you shall." As he's just sitting there, just boom.
And this is just between these two at this point, and it's leveling this entire city.
And he's chasing Silver Surfer, and like you get like consequences are for lesser. I love that too, because he goes, "I could forgive your challenge, but not your insolence." Yeah. And Surfer says, "You dare speak of insolence, you who would shatter a world?" And Galactus says, "Consequences are for lesser beings. I am Galactus. That is sanction enough." Yeah. Galactus gives zero.
He gives zeros. Yeah.
Zero cares about any of this. And that's where he goes. So about the deity, I did want to throw this in there. He goes, "You who are beyond artifice, beyond deceit, why do you let them think you a god?" And he goes, "Is a god not power? Is a god not might? Never have I seen a deity. How then shall I know I am not divine?"
Wow.
I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Galactus, he's like, I haven't seen anything else that comes close to being a god like me. So then what am I?
Yeah.
Still
not a god, dude.
He's not, but he's just like, because he, like, Surfer tells him, like, surely true divinity is love and grace and knowledge and, and supreme. It's not like this power and, like, will force and all that. And Galactus just kind of tells him, like, just enough. Like, I'm tired of your platitudes, which I kind of agree with Galactus after a while on some of this. Like, Surfer makes great points, but...
Yeah, no, I get it, yeah.
And Galactus, the face on there, and he's like, enough.
This is just a father-son duel is all this is. It's just
Alana is there because she was driving the helicopter to get as close to Surfer as Galactus as she could. And she's like, I reached him at last, but everything, the pain, it won't stop. It's growing dark. And she's
passing out.
She's passing out. And we get a cut back to Colton, who goes back then, or who is informed by one of his men that, Reverend Prophet, I bring you news of your sister. Like, she escaped with the helicopter. And he's like, why can be more urgent than my holy attempt to establish divine telepathy? What is that? And that's what he tells him, like, she got away. And he's like, perhaps it's just as well. Do not pursue, like, let her go. Like, that's fine. She can do what her own. We don't need to spend time with her. And they go, she was taking an aircraft headed for Galactus. And he goes, is she, is she blind to the danger? Like, why is she, like, driving there towards him? And he's like, his lackey goes, they wait you in the command room. Also, I hesitated to tell you, but she was wounded. And, like, so he's there now in this control room watching the helicopter, watching Galactus and Silver Surfer battle. And the two of them are fighting back and forth. And the helicopter starts crashing down. It starts diving down. And as it's going down, like, Colton is watching this, and he's like, no, he can't let her die. Hear me, Galactus. Hear the cry of your prophet. Save her. Only you have the power, is what he's yelling out, because, like, he has now officially believed
he
that
gave himself the power, but he says that Galactus,
but he fully believes that he is now. And so...
And I think that's true for a lot of those type guys.
For sure.
That they start believing. They start, feeding off their own supply.
Exactly. And so as the helicopter crashes, like, it's plummeted towards Earth. And he's like, Galactus does nothing, Reverend One. But look, the Surfer spied her, and that's it. The Surfer notices as the helicopter's coming down that it's actually Elena in there.
Right.
And he's like, my cosmic blast will free her then from this craft. I'll be able to save her. And there's a light of energy that comes out from the sky, and it's Galactus that has shot Surfer off of his board.
Yeah.
And he's crashing down to the ground too. And Galactus says, I will be defied no longer. When insurgency threatens, let power prevail. For Galactus is power, and power is all. And Silver Surfer is unable to save Elena as you see the helicopter crash and explode down there.
See, once again, to me, this proves he's not a god.
That Galactus isn't?
Yeah, because he didn't know.
No, exactly.
He didn't know she was even in there. Didn't care.
Or he didn't care.
Well, I think he just didn't know, honestly, because he never even references it.
That's what I'm making sure. He goes, who dares unknown and unbidden to approach my presence?
Yeah.
He does say, like, he recognizes it's a craft there, but he doesn't know who's in it.
He didn't know anybody's in it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So Surfer is, like, pulling himself up out of this rubble, just like, I could have saved her if Galactus hadn't stopped me. Like, just for that.
That's a pretty big deal. You just kill somebody right in front of one of the other heroes like that.
Here is one thing, though, that was a little, maybe it's just
go for it.
He goes, for a split second, I saw Elena's face, illuminated as if in prayer, a prayer not for herself, but for mankind. Yeah. Her eyes seemed to say that I was Earth's last hope. They begged me not to fail. There's two parts of that.
He's Jesus.
There's two parts of that. He does think he's Jesus, but that's not the part. That's the third part. How does he know that it was a prayer not for herself, but for mankind?
Maybe he can read thoughts.
Okay. For a split second, I saw her face illuminated in prayer. What is a telltale sign that you're praying?
Well, it says illuminated as if in prayer. So maybe we're talking about she was just, like...
But I would assume eyes closed then, because
I would think so.
If not, I mean, how many people, if you've ever been anywhere and somebody's praying and they're like,
"Dear God,"
never.
Yeah.
So, like, is he just assuming, like, I saw her eyes? She was probably praying.
Again,
it's just weird,
No, I get it. You're good to question it. It's
just funny to me.
I think that solidifies this father-son kind of thing, this God parable that we're living here.
Oh, absolutely.
That he is truly like the savior, Exactly. And that is a thin line that you're skating on when you have a character like this too, because he's always going to be Jesus.
Yep.
Because that's kind of his gig.
That is
right. He goes forth.
It's always his gig.
He goes forth and he tells people, "Hey, you're fixing to get screwed up if you don't change things."
Yeah.
And
well, a lot of times he honestly just shows up and he's like,
"Hey, get
ready. Your planet's about to be done.
Head between your legs. Let's go."
Well, I think there is a story. I think they do, like, change it a little bit for him later on to where I'm going to get this wrong. I don't know a lot about Silver Surfer. I'll be perfectly honest. But Norman Rand, I think is his name. And they do talk about how he would purposely find uninhabited planets.
Yeah.
For Galactus. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
For Galactus to feed off of.
Right.
Like that Silver Surfer has always kind of had a little bit of that of like, I know I'm the herald for this guy that, but I can at least like take him to places where nobody's going to get hurt kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's what they told me in Reno too.
So Surfer's torn up, and we get a cut back to Colton, who's watching all this, and all of his followers and other they were like, Galactus didn't even try to save her; he just let her die. Wow.
Yep.
Did Alina not sin?
That's what he do.
Yeah, because he was like unfathomable the way, and one of them goes, "Well, did Alina not sin and define the will of Galactus?" And that's when Colton's just like, "Sin? My sister was as free of sin as the very air we breathe. It was Galactus who sinned, and I who sinned."
He talk about a fucker that changed on a dime.
Boom.
Boy, oh boy.
But he's like, "And I who sinned, who dared to defy a devil." Like, and he's just sitting there, and he's like going on and on again. There, bulletin. We have just learned that the prophet Candle, this is his last name, Colton Candle. It took me a while to get it. Has publicly renounced Galactus. Well,
I like to think this all happened in one day.
That's what I'm saying. No, I think this is all just like 3 hours. And so everybody then is just like, oh, well, if the prophet's renouncing him, you know what? It was one thing. All right. He goes, where is it? Oh, we get a shot of the president who's like, religion is one thing, murder is another. This is still a nation of law and justice. We can do, or what can we do, Mr. President? And he's like ordering like Independence Day, like war plane strikes, right?
Right.
So everybody's running. They're going to go and battle and attack Galactus now. And Silver Surfer's going to give it his last hoorah too. He's like, your blind disregard for others' lives fills my heart with burning rage. Why was such awesome power granted to one as merciless as you? But what mad folly for what dread purpose was created a Galactus? What dread purpose was created a Galactus?
I kept thinking that...
And here's the thing. Oh, sorry. While you're reading that,
go back to the airplane. So you see the 73.7?
Yeah.
So I looked up what the Bible verse was for 73.7, and it looks like...
Well, the one behind it is 73.8, though.
Well, this comes from Psalms 73.7, and it says, their eyes swell out through fatness, their hearts overflow with follies. I don't think it has anything to do with the airplane.
I don't think it is either.
There we go.
Yeah.
Back to your regularly scheduled message.
So, and like Surfer's trying to give him the best 1-2 he can, and I do just love this. Galactus, just like catching a fly, just sits there and holds Silver Surfer in his hands, and you see like all this raw power that could probably destroy so many people just sitting there just buzzing in Galactus's hands, and it is just such. I love the moment because it just shows how powerful like Galactus is of just like. Yeah, the Silver Surfer guy, just holding him here, just getting ready to smush him just like a bug.
But Galactus is a little bit of all bark, no bite. And I say that only with Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Because he gives him so many chances.
He does. And
like, if you do this, I'm going to crush you. Hey, you better not do that. I'm going to crush you. Don't you fly away from me. I'll crush you. Yeah.
And he goes, you have chosen your fate. My herald that was, I meant you no harm. For Galactus bears menace to none.
Yeah.
I know not why you chose to defy me or why you risk death so that others may live.
Here it comes. Here's the chance.
But if such is your choice, so be it. The surfer shall soar no more. And he goes to smash.
It's the butt. It's the butt if.
And he's hit with just riddled with bullets from the airplanes that come by. And he's just holding Surfer there as he's looking around at these planes that are now just swooping in around him.
Yeah.
But he does nothing.
It's such
silent.
a good picture down at the bottom.
It is. He stands, made invulnerable by a power beyond the ken of mortal comprehension. When finally he speaks, his words are for me alone, his grace voice little more than a pale whisper. They deify me no longer. You have turned them against their God. I planned to free them of their inhibitions, to remove all moral restraints. It was but a matter of time before they destroyed themselves. But they worship me no more. Thus the plan has failed. I grant you your freedom, Skyrider. Your death will avail me not.
Yeah.
So that's it. Surfer just got him to realize, hey, he's not a god after all.
Yeah.
Galactus is like,
Yeah.
Plan ruined.
Yep.
You can go, Silver Surfer.
At least you see that there is some. Oh boy, that's a big dick. At least you see that there
And a
is
spaceship. Oh, I thought you were talking
some power.
that face, though. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. There is some power that Silver Surfer holds over him, though.
Yes.
And that just proves that. Plus, it's the whole he almost died for your sins kind of thing. That whole thing.
That Galactus face, though, too, just makes me think of some just creepy 80s, that's so good. Like the Last Unicorn kind of thing or something. I don't know why. It just makes me think of that.
I just love that middle panel.
Oh, with Galactus
all together
in there too,
because you almost don't see Silver Surfer at first when you see that. Yeah, the big penis next to it kind of foils it.
So then Galactus just leaves because he's like, wait, remember your promise. You have vowed not to harm them. But
I gotta go shine my giant penis ship.
He vowed that last time and came back anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like, he tells him, like, Galactus needs not anybody to remind him of a pledge given. I go for the hunger still gnaws. For time is endless and the future mine. I shall yet return and taste the triumph. For man's recall memory is so woefully short. Just saying, like, a recent memory is so woefully short. Mm-hmm. So Galactus goes. And then now...
I could probably do without this part.
You probably can do without this part. You know where we're going?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're all at, like, the UN. And Silver Surfer tells him, he's like, no, because you are wrong. You must place no man above all others. He's telling them because they were just like, but we have seen the light. It is he who calls himself the Silver Surfer. He is the true savior from the stars. And that's like, no. I'm not a savior. But then the crowd's like, how humbly he speaks. He is the essence of true holiness. If not a god, he is truly a saint. You must lead us, guide us. We shall be your disciples. Is what all these people are telling him. And then Silver Surfer thinks, it is madness. They thirst for leadership as a child thirsts for mother's milk. Surely this is why they so often fall prey to tyrants and despots. Why cannot they realize that the truest faith is faith in oneself? What has made them so desperate to have others show them the way? There is only one way to teach them, though it will mean becoming an outcast again, and yet it is a small enough price to pay. And so Surfer's just essentially like, very well, I accept the homage that you guys offer, and I shall advise you and guide you and lead you in the path of glory. But first you shall hold my terms. Every command is to be obeyed without question. 1/3 of each nation's wealth shall be set aside for my personal use. I shall not be subject to any man-made law. Like, he's just going through all this list.
Yeah.
Like, all shall rise when I design to appear. None shall speak without, my assent. And they're just all like, wait, he's changed. He rants like a madman. He's power mad. He makes Galactus seem like Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Yeah.
But that's what they're all saying there. And we get back to...
I mean, I could see people doing that.
Yes.
I could see them going, oh, well, he's the one that turned away Galactus. Galactus was the truth threat. This guy's left. He's our savior.
Yeah, I get that.
Pretty quick.
But then they eventually go, you've said enough. I think you better leave. And so he does. He goes to leave as they're all yelling at him, like, he's a lunatic. Get rid of him. Lynch him. String him up. Like, hanging's too good for him. And in the crowd, Colton is back there.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, don't listen to him. He doesn't mean what he says. And you see, like, Silver Surfer just sitting there smirking. And he's like, Crandall's cry will be lost in the din. No mob has ever heeded a lone voice of reason. But I had best leave before violence sets in. And he's like, don't do it, Surfer. Stay with us. We need you more than ever. Mankind is mad. You're our last hope. And he's like, he's flying away. And you get like a zoom out of the crowd.
To me, my board.
Like Surfer is leaving. Yeah. And it's like, it's too late. He's going. Why? Why did you do it? You could have had it all. You could have been a god. You threw it all away just for us. And the tragedy of it is we don't deserve it.
A little heavy-handed, yeah. I get it.
And then Surfer's just out there, just floating, forever alone, as he says, I ride my board. It matters not how far. It matters not how fast. I have no destination. I go where the winds of chance may carry me. I have known the heady exultation of victory. I have known the gnawing pain of defeat, but I shall never cease searching for an oasis of sanity in the desert of madness that men call earth. I am exhausted from reading this.
Yeah, I get it. I know. It's
For the worst, but I'm finishing it. For the worst fate of all, amidst countless worlds and endless stars, is to be forever alone.
So
The end.
there's a lot of things that I would not give this much grace to because it is super heavy-handed and it is a lot. For some reason, this just stuck with me.
Can I add one thing that I didn't know that I found out in doing this?
Go for it.
Moebius started working on a French magazine called Metal Hurlant, which Americans might know as
Heavy metal?
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know that we essentially. I mean,
Hey,
I knew heavy metal was a thing, but
let
yeah,
me tell you this right now, you guys listening and watching. If you have never seen the movie Heavy Metal, please go watch that. Do not watch Heavy Metal 2000.
I was about to say 2000
sucks.
for free.
But the first one is just fantastic. It's got beautiful art. Everything that's in it means something to the music and vice versa. It's a very good movie.
It is, and I just love looking at this is Stan's plot. This is the plot that he got. This to show what you get from Stan Lee.
Yeah.
He got scientists realize it isn't a comet. It's a gigantic spaceship. Terror spreads over the planet.
It says it is a vessel. And what does the other guy say? Schwa?
Shit.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And then panic. He's writing just little notes, as he's drawing the sketches. I mean, I'm assuming that that's his sketches. I don't think that's a Stan outline. I could be wrong. But I just loved looking through he talks about pages that he had to redraw. Dude,
God, look at that.
It's
Ooh.
great. The coloring. I need to just send you these pages so you can read this
just
part
so
of
well
it.
done.
Because
Yeah.
it's Moebius talking about all of it. To me,
Yeah.
the lettering is a form of graphology. It reflects your own style and personality. A page of comics without text has its own personality. But when you add the balloons, it suddenly takes on a whole new different look. For example, I was quite disappointed about the look of my pages on the Silver Surfer at first. I was quite disappointed without the balloons. I thought they looked dull, too drab. Then I lettered them, and they changed completely. It became something complete dynamic. The lettering brought it all together.
Yeah, the
so
lettering.
it's stuff like that to read afterwards. It was really cool.
Again, the lettering is its own character in this thing. I mean, it's really well done.
Yep.
Oof.
There we go. There's the back of it. It costs $6 there at the
Yeah,
time.
I'd have that grafted onto my ass.
The
if I
direct
could.
edition.
Yeah.
There we go. So that was Silver Surfer Parable.
Well, thanks for
Happy
doing
birthday,
that.
Mike.
I know. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. That was it again, not a lot of things I would give that much grace to, but that's a good one.
It was really good. Thank you for letting me keep you late today and for
please.
us doing that. Thank you, all of you out there, as always, for taking the time out to watch, listen, however you do. We appreciate any time you give to us. Make sure, if you have the time to and you're looking for other great things to listen to check out the many great podcasts on the Rogue Media Network family of podcasts.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
And until next time, don't forget, on Wednesday, we have a new World's Finest Wednesday that we're going to dial up for you that I think you'll like.
Ooh, keeps dropping those little hints.
Sakamaji.
Sakamaji yourself there, buddy.
But until
Don't know what
next
that
time,
means, but sure.
stay safe, everybody.
Hey, golly, con.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network